This is immigration attorney Parviz Malakouti, and in this video I want to give a very basic timeline of an applicant applying for a green card via consular processing, how it looks, okay? Now remember, just to back up for a second, there's adjustment of status and there's consular processing. Adjustment of status is the process by which a person applies for a green card from within the United States and stays within the United States. We're not talking about that. We're talking about consular processing, which is a process by which the applicant, if they're not in the United States, they have to stay outside for the entirety of it, or if they're in the United States, they basically have to go abroad for an interview at a consular post. That's why it's called consular processing. So both processes lead to the same thing, which is a green card, but for adjustment of status, a person stays in the United States the entire time. For consular processing, there's a period outside of the United States, at very least for the visa interview. Okay, so anyway, let's get right into it. So first of all, I like to think about consular processing as being in three rough stages. Okay, the first stage is the filing of the I-130 petition for alien relative. Now, obviously, I'm talking about a family-based case here, okay? And basically, the purpose of the I-130 is to establish the relationship between the petitioner and the beneficiary applicant before the eyes of USCIS, okay? So you send the I-130. By the way, this is what the first page of the I-130 looks like. It can be filed on paper or online. I prefer online for my clients. You submit the I-130 along with the supporting documentation, in the format that obviously USCIS wants, and then you wait for the I-130 to be adjudicated. How long does it take? On the very short side, maybe 5 months. On the longer side, it could take a year or maybe even longer for an I-130 to be adjudicated. It just depends on the case. Once the I-130 is approved, then the case moves to the second of the three stages that I was referring to, which is the National Visa Center. The I-130 gets sent to the National Visa Center. You get contacted, okay, to basically submit more information on behalf of the applicant, okay? So this is where police reports come in, okay? This is where personal information comes in. This is where the petition sponsor has to submit the affidavit of support, okay? So once NVC has gotten all of those documents, okay, and the case is documentarily qualified to go for a consular interview, the case then will proceed to the next stage, the third and hopefully final stage in a case that's successful. And that's actually scheduling of an interview plus the interview at a consular post, okay? So NVC basically sends the case to the relevant consulate. What's the relevant consulate? Usually the relevant consulate is the consulate in the country from which the applicant is from. Okay, so if an applicant is from France, usually goes to Paris. If an applicant's from England, usually will go to the consulate in London. Okay, there's a few cases though in which it may not go to a consulate that's in the country that the applicant is from. The first is if the applicant is resident in another country. Okay, so using the same example, let's say a Frenchman is resident in the Dominican Republic. Okay, the case could possibly go to Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic, for an interview instead of Paris. Okay, the second example is some people are from countries that don't have any relations with the United States, okay, diplomatic relations. Good example is Iran, okay? There is no US consulate or embassy in Iran because of poor relations. So Iranian consular processing applicants typically interview in either Armenia, Turkey, or United Arab Emirates, okay? So anyway, the point is the case goes to the consulate, okay, to schedule a consular interview, okay? The applicant comes to that consular interview with all of the originals of the documentation that was submitted to National Visa Center, as well as, of course, a medical report, okay, a qualified medical report from a civil surgeon, as they call them, okay, that's approved by USCIS. Hopefully that applicant is well prepared at that interview. They don't have any grounds of inadmissibility. They don't have any problematic aspects. And if that's the case, hopefully they're approved at the consular interview, approved for a visa, and basically they get a visa stamp, they get an envelope, okay, and then the applicant has to travel to the United States with that unopened envelope, okay? Submit that envelope to CBP as they're passing through the border, usually via an airport, of course, and then get the green card in the mail, okay? Pre-COVID times, 3-4 weeks usually for the green card to come in the mail. After COVID, could take longer, okay? And voila, at that point, the applicant, the immigrant, would be a legal permanent resident, AKA a green card holder in the United States. Now, how long would it be until that person can apply for naturalization? Depends on a few factors. Usually 5 years, okay? Or if that person is married to a US citizen, it could be 3 years from the time that they have a green card, okay? That's a topic for another video. Anyway, I hope this video helps. If you have any general questions, feel free to throw them in the comment section. If you have any specific questions, if you want to discuss your situation, click on the link below, book a consultation. Have a good one.